What do you think? Because HIV, we don't talk about it much now,
No,
do
we don't. And I must say, I met Charlie Sheen years and years ago at a film festival and I had a little dance with him. He's so charismatic. I mean, you cannot underestimate how sexy and charismatic he is in the flesh. I even had a little snog, but obviously made my excuses and left.
Janet, sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I've just been told he has confirmed that he is the actor that people have been talking about, and he has got HIV. That's
well, of course, the next thing to say is that being HIV positive is not a death sentence at all.
No.
And we should, while I celebrate the fact that he's come out on national television and is saying it, the fact that so few people do that, one wonders whether he hasn't been forced out into the open. We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. But it does bring us back to talking about HIV, and it has slightly gone off the agenda compared to back in the 70s when we had the public health warnings and people were very conscious about it. It almost
we were terrified about it.
People were
most of
rightly so scared. But some interesting facts for people watching the programme to think about is that over the last 10 years, the number of women in this country living with HIV has risen by 42%. And the biggest group of people now, being diagnosed HIV positive is women over 50. They're the fastest growing group. And that could be because women are getting divorced, they're splitting up, and they're relishing their freedom, and who can deny them that? But perhaps they're not realising that by choosing multiple sexual partners, when you're in your middle years, you ought to consider where have they been and what have they been doing, and you should still practice.
And you've mentioned that generation of where the scary thing when they were younger was pregnancy.
Yeah.
So now they've probably gone through the menopause and all that sort of thing. I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. World's my oyster.
Well, you've said before on here that you have women writing to you with STIs and things. That is increasing in women over 45 and 50.
Yeah, massively increasing, and being quite shocked about. But why have I got it? And and it's absolutely right. It's because of the divorce levels and new relationships. But the thing with HIV, I've noticed with Kira, who's 14, speaking to her and her friends, and obviously they have sex education and everything at school, and they've come home and they've talked. They know everything about everything. But the one sexual disease they've never mentioned to me is HIV or AIDS, ever.
Jack's the same. And actually, he doesn't, boys don't talk about things when they come home from those lessons anyway. You say, what did you learn? But he often there'll be things on the news or things in the papers or things on a TV show that will bring up discussions. Never has he mentioned HIV
do loads
or
of work
AIDS
with
to me.
HIV charities and so on. Do you think it's something that younger people just don't
I think
know
they do.
about?
It says here in the fact sheet that we've got that HIV is contained within the statutory basic curriculum in England, but this may not be implemented well as there are no detail or guidance on how the schools must do this. But I mean, at the time when it first came out all those years ago, there was adverts, there was so much going on and people knew all about it.
Is that because initially it seemed to be
it was a death sentence. I mean, now people have got it and they don't even know, because I went down to the Mildmay Hospital where there's lots of people that got HIV, and there was one sort of older lady that had had it for years and didn't know about it, that her husband had been sleeping around and she didn't know about it. And I also went along to the Terence Higgins once, quite early on, not long after it all came out, and I always, every time I get into a car, I bring my cup of tea with me. So I turned up at Terence Higgins with my cup of tea and they went, oh, you've brought your own cup with you? I said, yeah, no, I always do. I bring it in the car with me. So I think they thought I'd bought a cup because I didn't want to drink out of their cups. So I spent the rest of the day picking up everyone's cup, drinking out.
But that was the problem, Janet, wasn't it, with lack of information and education, and why we were all so terrified. Because people thought you literally could catch it from drinking from a mug or touching somebody.
I had an HIV test ages ago because I was going out with someone that I knew had slept around a lot and would sleep around again, and I couldn't control that. And it was negative. But now 45% of the people who are HIV positive have contracted it through heterosexual sex. So it's no longer a disease which is only existing in the gay community. Now, for what's happened to Charlie Sheen today is going to be very interesting to see the fallout in America, because we are not seeing mainstream sports people, we're not seeing mainstream actors or singers come out and say, I'm HIV positive, even though we all know people who are HIV positive who are taking drugs every single day and living very fulfilling lives. But the stigma is still there.
Well, as I said, Charlie Sheen has been speaking on the Today Show to Matt Lauer. This is what he's just said on American television. I'm here to admit I am HIV positive, and I have to put a stop to the onslaught and barrage of attacks and sub-truths that are threatening the health of so many others. That was his statement. Obviously, there'll be a lot more to that interview, which we'll hear about more probably and see a lot in the papers tomorrow. And like you said, Janet, I hope that he hasn't been forced out into the open, but I suppose now it is out there.
Yeah.
It will do a lot of good that somebody like him in the public eye will start the
Well,
conversation.
it's interesting you say that.